Okay. Like I said, their back testing isn't so great. Now, outside of where you find all this information, like I said, it's gonna take getting used to um, where all these contracts are. Okay. But they do a pretty good job of keeping it like you have India stocks, okay, London stocks. Like they just have so much data. Okay. All the Forex markets. All right. All the futures markets. And what they do with the futures markets is remember how we talked about um, how you can do like ESU without the at symbol, right? And you can see that contract, and you can look at ESZ and you can see that contract. Well, they automatically do that to such a finesse that they have these things that are called GAN contracts. Okay. And GAN contracts allow you to see each individual, all of the ESU contracts plotted without contract adjusting them. Why would that be helpful? Because that's how you can really find true seasonality. Okay. Um, that's like a more very fine approach. I'm lazy, and unless I really want to, I'll do that. Another thing that's built into TradeNav is automatically TDOM and TDOY. So if you hover over these bars and you look at the top of the screen, you'll see TDOM equals 21, TDOY equals 127. Okay. They have your basic like order entry stuff, quote board. Can you guys not hear me anymore? It's possible. Alan says he can hear me. The mic looks good, so I'm just gonna keep going. You can come in to customize this toolbar and you can change all of the things that you see up here. All right. And again, you can build functions, strategies. Strategies, if you want to build a strategy, it's just this little like chess piece right here. Okay. If you want to make a strategy basket, you're testing across, different markets. You can do that there. Libraries is going to bring up this window, and this is where you see here's the symbol group, here's the criteria, the filters, the functions that you can make for strategies, and the actual strategies. Okay. And then if you wanted to test a whole group of strategies on different markets, then this is where you would do that as well. Okay. And they have also like built-in indicators and stuff that you can use. Now, outside of the vast amount of data, the strategy testing, which is all stuff you guys can like research. I'm just showing you guys the platform in and of itself. They have one thing that I really, 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 really like. Okay. And that's called replay history. Okay. So you guys saw that when I clicked E on here and I went into trading, and then remember, I could turn the strategy off or I can turn it on right there from the platform itself. Now I can do this as well. I can come up to this little icon up here. Now, how do I have this little strategy performance icon up here? Remember, I came into, what's it called? Settings. Okay. Oops, not settings. I came in to customize the toolbar, the little hammer icon, and I ticked it. I ticked the little box here to show strategy performance report. Okay. So that's how I got it up there. If you ever open TradeNav, you probably won't have that. So you got to put it up there. So when I do that and I click system preferences, again, it's going to bring out this like table that's going to show me that the total net profits of this current strategy on this particular market was 140,000. It only wins 30% of the time. Okay. And The nice part about TradeNav is it has a lot more, in my opinion, features in terms of breakdown. Okay. So I can go to this. This is all of the trades over here. I can also do long trades, short trades. Okay. Why is that important? And that's important because you want to see where are the vast majority of your returns coming from, right? Is it from the long side or is it from the short side? Short trades. This is the same thing that we saw in TradeStation where it gives us a breakdown. I can also do monthly history. Okay. I can do weekly history by week, which I always think is nice, by year. Okay. So going back in the British pound to 1975, I can see where the returns are. Okay. I can see that the first year it only had 3 trades and they were all winners. Okay. I can see it by month, which is also really nice, by week, by day. So trading day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 31. Okay. And trading day of the week. All right. Trading day of the month. Trading day of the year. Do you see how many different, much more things that the report gives you than TradeStation does? Okay. So the trade-off is that TradeStation has a much better like optimization thing, but TradeNav in terms of like seeing your strategy across the board, okay, like of all the different segments, is much more robust. Okay. By week of day, this is really interesting, I think. So we see that on a Monday and a Friday for this particular strategy, these are the best performing days. What can we do with that? We could literally just tell our strategy if the condition is true and today is Monday or Friday, then take the trade, right? Will we perform better? Yes, because majority of our results are coming from our majority of our, I would say, win percent results are coming from the days of Monday and Friday. Very cool. I'm not even doing any programming yet, right? I'm just looking at a basic strategy. Okay. I'm looking at, I can do buy entry signal, buy when breaks out to the upside. So what this tells you is breakout trading, right? So if the condition is true, right? If the condition is true, what happens if I buy at another high, right? So meaning like, or yesterday's high. So condition is true. The system says, I want to be long. We say, no, 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 no. You can't be long yet. You can only be long when it breaks, when we have a close above today's high or yesterday's high. Okay. Does that make sense? And in the reverse, only sell short when the condition is true that you want to go short, but you must go to the opposite side. You must break the low. You must close below the low. Okay? Or the open must be below the low. Okay? So really interesting granular data that TradeStation does not give you. Okay? Consecutive trade study. This is a study that I've made for myself in the past, but TradeNav does it automatically. Okay? They put a lot of time into the analysis part, not so much time into like the actual optimization part. It's really interesting. Okay. So what this tells you is that when you win one consecutive time in a row, okay, and I know this is hard to see right now, but I promise you it's going to be crystal clear when you watch the video, okay? But what this says is that when we win one time, the next trade only wins 22% of the time. Okay? If we win 2 times in a row, the probability of the next trade being a winner is only 10%. But it has a PL ratio of 5. Okay? Can you start to make sense of all the numbers. We're just looking at a strategy raw. Okay? A normal buy here, get out, and reverse, basically. Okay? So pretty amazing stuff there. And then win trade analysis, just a lot of different things. We can also do money management. Okay? What's money management? Money management is just going to do different kinds of different almost like a betting strategy, if you will, but trying to conserve capital while exponentially growing gains. Okay, so standard money management, it tells you right down here in the left how they actually do this. So it says the formula used by this standard money management report is units, account balance, times the risk percent divided by risk based on, but is also capped at account balance and margin. Okay, so if we look at a chart now, the red line is our no money management strategy. Okay. The blue line, using this standard money management strategy, is what our equity curve would look like with this strategy on top of it. Okay. Fixed fractional, we see that the money management is still outperforming all the time. Okay. Fixed ratio, we see that fixed ratio really outperforms. Okay. We moved from 400 to 600. We made an extra 200K just by doing a simple, risk to outweighing reward. Okay. Williams risk ratio, same thing, except this looks like it's actually higher. Okay. So interesting shit right there. Okay. Another cool feature is they do Monte Carlo analysis. All right. So now that's something for an entirely different class, but all you need to know is this shuffles the trades around and asks the question, if the trades came in different orders, does it really, how much does it hurt our equity curve, basically? Because remember, any equity curve or any strategy or anything you do with any kind of repeatability, right? At some level, those trades have to come in a certain order, right? So if that's the case, the question that this tries to essentially answer is basically, okay, if they came in a different order, how much would the strategy deteriorate, So, because remember, the idea behind Monte Carlo is we understand that everything in the past is not going to replicate itself in the future, and trades are going to come in different orders, right? So that's what Monte Carlo tries to answer, like, what does that look like? Okay. And what this essentially says, this is 99 simulated runs. I would like to see 1,000, preferably, but this is only 99 because I only think it goes up to 99. Okay. But essentially what this says is this red line is our strategy. These are all the other strategies. This is the strategy basically retraded 99 different times with different orders. And what this is telling us essentially is, look, the strategy that we have, in which TradeStation does not do any of this, by the way, okay? The strategy that we have is over optimized. Why is it over optimized? Because the band of this strategy is the best case scenario according to this particular Monte Carlo simulation. Okay? Which means invariably over the next 40 years, we could have it all the way down here or in the middle. Okay? But it's definitely it's definitely not robust. Okay? All right? And we can also do annual profit to drawdown, calculate the average annual profit to drawdown and this is in 20,000 simulations over 7 random trades. Okay, this is an interesting test, which also shows us, average trade is about $500, winning trade is about 30. Okay, and it's kind of in the mid range of stuff. average annual profit, average annual drawdown. I would never trade something like that. Risk analysis is also interesting. So this shows for each percentage of risk per trade. Okay, so this could be 1%, right? So if you had $100,000 and for every trade you bet 3%, the average annual or the average drawdown you're going to receive is 4. Okay. I know this may be way over your head. The point is like in comparison to in terms of tools for analysis, TradeNav does an extraordinary job. Okay. And that's just to show you the functionality of it. Get your feet wet a little bit. And the only reason I'm explaining it is because I want you guys to also, look at that stuff and think about that stuff, because in terms of choosing a platform, like I said, I think TradeStation is really good in a lot of areas and it makes up for a lot of the things that TradeNav lacks. But TradeNav does a much better job in terms of analysis. Okay, that's the point. And the other cool feature they have is like this replay mode. Okay, now this is something I wish TradeStation would do. Now, what this is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to see how many different, or it's just going to allow me to watch the market trade in real time, basically. Okay. So instant replay is to quickly replay days or months of past data on a chart. Streaming replay is going to replay each tick, bid, ask, the bid and the ask for each piece of data. I don't really want to do that because that's going to consume a lot of memory. Okay. And I can either select a random symbol from continuous 067. Remember, the 067s are all the continuous futures contracts, but I'm just going to stick with what we have here, which is the British pound on the electronic session. And I can change it going back, but we're going to start on Monday, 12/01 of 2003. Okay, I'm going to look at daily bars, and I can change any of this to different kinds of strategies, but I'm going to keep it in game mode because game mode allows me to actually trade. And I'm going to see it out 1 day at a time. So each bar is going to be daily. Okay, and I'm going to start this replay, and this is actually pretty quick. Okay, so here we are in December, and what I can do is I can actually play it in fast or slow. I'm going to make it kind of fast so you guys can see it a little bit, but I can actually play this and it's going to do its thing where I get to watch the market play itself out day by day. Okay. And it gives me the option to actually up here buy or sell, and it will tell me what my P&L is. So if I wanted to see like how the cloud is actually, or any indicator is actually going to play out in real time, hypothetically, okay, I could watch this, and we've gotten no sell trades, or I would say a sell setup. Okay. Still nothing. You'd have to know the rules of the system. And then I could click sell, and I could just say, and I could make a profit target, but I'm not really interested in that. So it's going to show me where I sold. Okay. And I can just watch the market bounce around. Bouncy, bouncy, bounce. Okay. So now that's kind of like crossed over. And I can come up here and click reverse. And once you have like a trade on, you can just keep doing this. I think it's interesting, that's for sure. Some people really like to do this stuff, but that's also availability as well. Okay? Would you like to say cancel? Okay. So that's kind of like the overview. You can export data. There's a little export button here, or export a strategy as well up here. Continuous contract rules. If you click on that button, this will actually tell you, okay, when rollover is going to happen for these things. And the ones in blue are the ones that are happening most recently. Okay. You see it says rolling to new contract. Okay. So trade nav also, like I said, is a close second, I would say, to trade station. So, and for those of you um, that have used Thinkorswim in the past, Thinkorswim out of the water. Okay. But like I said, the best part about TradeNav for those of you who live in a place that TradeStation does not exist, right? You can then this may be an alternative. Just make sure you talk to them about what broker you can use and is it compatible with their platform. And that's the best part. They're a great platform that you are buying outright, essentially. That is yours. You don't pay any more after that. And then it just comes to paying for data. Does that make sense to everyone? So besides my random entanglement with kind of going over the cool features of TradeNav, I'm sorry, that kind of stuff is really cool to me, so I get sidetracked. But besides that, are there any questions about any of the platforms? And hopefully you guys really see why I think a lot of other platforms are just basically garbage in comparison to this. Okay? In my opinion, if you can't have TradeStation, this is a great alternative. If you can have TradeStation and you don't like it, this is a great alternative. And I'm trying to be cognizant of those of you who don't live in the United States. Because I want you guys all to succeed and I want you guys to have the same opportunity. Does that make sense? So, this is why, people who come out with platforms and I'm like, it's total shit, because this to me is the standard. Okay. Because those two platforms are the best things I've seen ever for retail traders. Okay? And you should demand this kind of standard. Honestly. Because, I mean, you want to be able to do whatever you want to do, right? Whether it's test, whether it's create, whether it's, do stuff. Okay? So platforms that don't offer any of this kind of things, are terrible. And any platform that doesn't offer any kind of real strategy automation, like, that's also like, what year are we living in? Are we living in the 1980s again? Because that's what it feels like. All right. Oh, one last thing too that's kind of cool is they've built a feature inside of TradeNav that if you run into an issue, right, you can either click this little support button. Okay. That's the update button, but there's like a telephone button as well that I don't have up here. And they can remote into, like, they have remote access, which is really kind of cool. Usually other people use different softwares. They just make it so, hey, you have a problem with your platform, you have data issues, you need help with, like, maybe coding something, they have, like, remote access. Can TradeStation and TradeNav please have a baby? You know what? Like, I've given tons of suggestions to TradeNav and they're much more receptive than TradeStation is. So I I really, I wish that was possible, but it's just that a lot of them have existed for so long, so it's trying to get them to listen to someone who kind of knows what they're talking about. And I think things that would be good for users. But ultimately, I build stuff for myself that lacks, you know. So, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool though, Dave, if there was like a trade station trade nav like killer. It just takes a lot of work, that's for sure. But I think what TradeNav did in terms of being like broker agnostic, I think that's way smarter than trying to be your own brokerage house. Do you know what I'm saying? Like let someone else take the liability of, being um shady, you know? I think that and it also opens up the door to all the people, right? And not just that specific thing. Like that's the disadvantage of TradeStation, honestly. It's like if TradeStation doesn't exist where you are, like you can't have TradeStation. So, yeah. Do you have any comments on this stuff? I know it was a lot, but hopefully you guys found this useful. Um, I know I kept you guys here a while, but I want you to have all the information, at least from my perspective, at least. And so, whatever you choose to trade, at least you have some kind of standard of the way that I see things. Okay. Um, I'm just actually getting used to it. So, if you all, come up with some invariably easy question, I think that's what I'm actually gonna do. I'm probably gonna give you guys like a questionnaire, probably like I would say 3 or 4 days after this. So once the information sinks in, you guys can ask all your questions, and then we can compile all of that, and then we can go over it, which would be getting 100 different emails from different people. So about maybe you guys all share the same question. Does that sound like a fair compromise? Okay, cool. Then that is what I will do. All right. And it's really just going to be more or less, I'm going to try to source it to where it's all on the internet so I don't have to get like emails. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that. I think it's possible. All right. So that's going to do it today, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, something you're interested in terms of products that I sell, please let me know. Just I don't want you guys to feel like you have to buy my stuff. Does that make sense? Like I don't want you to feel obligated. But obviously the more contact you have with me, the better you will understand me as a trader, and some good stuff hopefully will rub off on you. I would say just email me, Dave, because like I try to just keep all of these pretty structured to like the stuff. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for me. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and don't do anything too crazy.